Hey guys, I'm just going to do a voiceover. You guys can watch me crochet, and I'm just going to answer some questions from the Guess What Time It Is video. Hopefully you can hear me alright. Let's see. I did, Kim from Blue Cherub asked, did you pick out your names for each of your kids before they were born, and were you using those names to refer to your baby bump? Each of my kids have family names. So Alea is my oldest daughter. She is Alea Janice after her great-grandma and grandma. Alea was her great-grandma's name, and Janice was her grandma's name. Michael Darrell is Mikey. To me, he prefers to be called Michael. Is named after my father, Michael, and his grandfather, Darrell. So that's a family name. Jacob Cornelius will probably hate me because he is named after my grandfather, great-grandfather, Jacob, and then my grandfather's middle name was Cornelius. So Arthur Cornelius was his name, but my great-grandfather was Jacob. So there's a family name there. And then when I was pregnant with Daisy, my grandmother was ill. She passed away shortly after Daisy was born, but Donnie, there's another funny story, but everybody in Donnie's family starts with a D, and then my grandma's name was Dolores. Her name actually was Dolores Darlene. And so I wanted to name my daughter a D name, and Daisy Darlene was what came out because we didn't want to have Dolores, just because it seems like an older name, but we got Darlene in there. So but yeah, all of Dawn's family has a D name. And then Connor Wayne is actually Wayne is Donnie's middle name, but Connor is just so we can call him Conway later. So Connor Wayne is going to be Conway, for short for Conway Twitty, because that is well, of course, a country artist that Donnie and I both like. So there's the answer of that question. I didn't refer to my baby bump as a name because we didn't tell anybody names until we actually had them, just so they couldn't fight over them. But yeah. One of the other questions, I can't remember if I answered it in the last one, was do you do other crafts? And the answer to that is yes. Currently right now I'm making stitch markers, so I'm doing beading, and I do plastic canvas and cross stitch, embroidery, that kind of thing. I do sew, but I haven't got my sewing machine out in a very, very long time. Another question was, have you ever bought Hobby Lobby's Luxe Lollies yarn? No, I have not. I don't know. I have not. Let's see. I'm just reading over these, so bear with me as we go here. Who is your favorite crochet designer? And if you could only watch one podcaster, who would it be? That's from Runaway Needle Red. I suppose my favorite crochet designer is probably Valerie with Old Soul Crochet. Second to that would be Rel. Only because they're fun and then they're practical. My favorite podcaster? Ooh, I don't know if I could pick with that. It would probably, I'd have to pick three. It'd probably be Kim from Blue Cherub, Terry from Yarn Joy Podcast, and then Randy from Random Randy's Ramblings, just because they've all got different personalities that I all love. So, the cicadas from that video, if you watched it, guess what time it is, The cicadas are very, very loud, and it doesn't matter where you go in the city of Sioux Falls, you can always hear them. My favorite thing to crochet is amigurumi. I liked making toys because it makes kids happy. My favorite pattern to make, or the easiest one to make, is probably just the octopus. And I like Rel's octopus because you don't have to attach 8 legs. Sin's Crafty World says, how long have you been doing videos and what made you start? I actually talked to Randy and Kim about starting long before I did. But I started doing videos on December 28th of 2018. And so it's been it's coming up on a year here. But I guess when everybody did was doing their Vlogust, or what is the Christmas one? I can't remember what it's called, but I just figured that I wanted to do something like that. It looked like a lot of fun. I'd been watching Kim for years, and to be honest with you, I thought maybe it would be a way for me to bring in some money, and, you know, as a single, not as a single mom, but as a stay-at-home mom who doesn't have a job, I just thought that would be maybe a source of income for me. What was my favorite trip that I took? Teresa from Teresa's Little Trees Treasures asked. My favorite trip I took was a trip down to New Orleans. It was a 10-day trip with my parents and my ex-husband at the time, but it was 10 days. We got to go down to New Orleans. We got to see the St. Louis Arch. We got to see Memphis, which, if you can't tell, I'm a old country fan, oldies fan. So Elvis and Nashville were right up on my hit list. How do I keep up with everything I do? I hang on to my teeth. I hang on by my teeth, I guess, which they're falling out, so maybe I shouldn't hang on by that. My hair, hang on by my hair. I don't journal, and I don't make a list very often unless I'm going grocery shopping, just because I can't remember from one minute to the next. So I do make a list for grocery shopping. Deb Shellhammer asked if I ever get any sleep or I get any rest. Not really. I probably don't get a lot of sleep. I have gotten more sleep in the last 4 months than I have probably in the last 6 years. Just with breastfeeding and things, with kids, it really, you don't get a solid 8 hours. I did get 10 hours of sleep last night, though, believe it or not. Teresa Patton asks, how do I keep my sanity? I crochet all the time. I crochet literally all the time. As you can see, I'm crocheting in the car, waiting for a food giveaway. And it doesn't bother me because I sit in my car and I don't have to worry about other people around me. Joe's Web asks, what's your favorite thing about living in South Dakota? I guess I've lived here all my life, so I don't know about living anywhere else. I guess I would say the people, but I'm not really too sure that's a good answer anymore. I guess don't judge us by our politicians, or don't judge us by the news that you see. But we are good people in South Dakota, so I suppose the people. Beth's Yarn Tales, she actually lives here in Sioux Falls with me. When did I become a Packers fan? Which I might have answered in the other video, I'm not sure. But I've been a Packers fan since I was a little girl. And my sister was a Raiders fan. But I was always Daddy's little girl, so I like the Packers the best. Let's see, Joanne Van Diver, I think, asked, how many years have I been crocheting and do I know how to knit? No, I do not know how to knit. And I probably won't ever really try just because one crochet hook is dangerous enough. 2 knitting needles with my kids would be super, super dangerous. So, right there was a spider. I don't know if you guys could see the window or not. I missed it looking down, but there was a spider on the window, and it was moving, and I was trying to show you what it was looking like. So anyway, I've been crocheting since I was 8 years old, on and off, but I don't know how to knit. I've tried 3 different times, and yeah. Alpaca My Yarn Mad Designs asked me what I like to crochet and what do I do while crocheting. I basically watch YouTube or Netflix, or I'll catch up on, other things like Hulu or whatever, but a lot of the times I'm crocheting with the kids around, so I end up having to watch cartoons or whatever Donnie's watching. So, if I'm lucky, I'm watching YouTube. A lot of people asked where my favorite place to buy yarn was. I think I went over that in the last video. That was basically Savers or Joann's. And you guys, I just drove by the Joann's. And so today is September 29th. And that tornado hit, what, 3 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago now? 3 weeks ago, must be. And you can still see through their roof. So I don't think it's coming back. If it's up before November, before Thanksgiving, it'll be a miracle, I think. Let's see. How I price my items, gosh, I don't know. I try to go by size and then the time it takes me. So if something's got like 6 pieces I have to sew in, I would charge more than, say, my little octopuses where I don't have to sew any pieces in. Because believe it or not, sewing in arms and legs and heads and all that kind of stuff takes time. And sometimes it takes longer than it took you to crochet. So it really is time versus your material costs. A lot of my yarn and stuff was given to me, or I got it at a huge discount, so the price of my yarn really doesn't bother me as much as the time it took me to make it. So usually most of my items are between $5 and $20, except for the bigger amigurumi, like the Valerie from Old Soul Crochet patterns. Those I usually charge more just because blanket yarn is more. I mean, the cheapest you can get one of those balls is $5, so if you take that times 3, it's only $15. It takes you a lot more than that to get your money out of it. Tasha's Yarny Creations asks, how many craft shows have I done? A lot. A lot. My friend Sherry from Sisseton is also a crafter. She does Native American beading and star quilts, all that kind of stuff. So if we can, we try to do them together. My mom and I will do them together. But before I did crafting, I did Tupperware for 13 years. So I'm very much in tune with the vendor showcase, I guess, as far as setting up booths and stuff. That's helped me out a lot. What would my dream job be? Asks Beth from Heaven's Peacemaker. You know, Beth, I'm not sure I'm not doing my dream job, to be honest with you. I know that eventually the kids will get older and it'll be less stress, so maybe being a mom and crocheting for a living might actually be my dream job. Other than I want to help people, so volunteering and having the time to do that would probably be one of my top things. You know, donating, giving back is kind of where I want to be. And when you get into those organizations or places that you donate your time and things, that really does take a lot of time. So I might have to wait until they're just a little bit older. Cindy Hearts Crochet asks how big the tree house is going to be. And if you watch the video, the tree house is pretty big. I have to duck my head to get into it, but otherwise it's going to be pretty big. I think all 4 kids will be able to fit in there without any problems. Don built a deck on there and finally got the steps on. The roof is on except for the shingles. So a couple more weeks we might actually see a finished tree house, which would be great. Let's see. I answered this one last week kind of when I introduced myself again to the newer people, but what inspired you to create your channel? My channel name came from my grandmother or my family, and how we hug, or what we say when we hug. It's ooh-ah when we hug each other, but so that's kind of what inspired me to make my channel. My grandmother was a huge inspiration, and she loved to give back and help people. She was a volunteer in her church for basically since she became a member, I guess. But then she also volunteered for Meals on Wheels and hospice. So yeah, a lot of that, she was a huge inspiration for me, I guess. Nordia asks, how many hours of crochet do I do a day? As many as I can get. I would guess probably, I would say 2 on the lowest and probably up to 8 or 10 depending on the day. Rose Likes Crochet asked me if Sheba is my only pet, and she is right now. We just, Sheba is my Black Lab Chow mix. That's the only one we have right now. I've asked Donnie to get another dog, but until we get the backyard fence all fixed up and until the kids get a little bit older, I think we'll stick with the one dog. But who knows? I'm sure with kids you always add those extra animals. I don't know if I'll have as many as Rose does, though. Let's see. Linda, my family does ask me to crochet items for them. Or maybe it's more that I ask them what they want. So for Christmas, such as my nieces, they know they're going to get a handmade gift from me. And then from my other family members, they kind of assume. My dad always says he doesn't want anything yarny, which is fine with me. But my mom kind of gives me some ideas of what she wants. Her birthday and Christmas are within a month of each other, so it's pretty easy to do something for her. I don't know that my sister's ever asked me for anything except for the pillow I'm going to make her, or fix for her. So yeah, I do make yarny things for my family. My kids ask for yarny things all the time. They always think I can make a teddy bear out of a small piece of string. So, let's see. Somebody asked what my favorite color is, and what my favorite yarn. Kim Phillips asked me what my favorite color and my favorite yarn. My favorite color is green, and my favorite go-to yarn is definitely Red Heart. That's just what I use. It's 100% acrylic. Oh, and that's me putting my hook in my yarn in my mouth. See, I am a dirty hooker, and You guys, I love all your responses from the video of are you a dirty hooker or not? I appreciate all the comments. I really, really do. That was hilarious on some of your answers. And I hope I really didn't offend anybody, because I certainly didn't mean to, but that's
Yes,
me
I'm a
chuckling
dirty
at myself
hooker.
because even when I was working on stuff today, my hook went. Yeah, so anyway, I'm laughing at myself there, which is pretty funny. Went to cut my yarn today, and I did the same thing. I put my hook in my mouth so I could cut my yarn. Linda Steinbecker asked if, do I write my own patterns? And I actually have. I've written 2 different patterns. There's the Granny Trio pattern. So if you need any granny panties out there for a joke or otherwise,
Wow.
there's the Granny Boulder Holder and the Granny Trio, the underwear. And then there's the Spooky pattern for the Halloween crochet along. Do you like winters? Susan Joyce asked if you like winters in South Dakota. I don't know how to answer that. If I don't have to shovel, yes. If my basement doesn't flood after the winter, yes. I don't mind cold so much because I can put on more layers, but I certainly wouldn't want to get stuck out in South Dakota winters because you can get frostbite pretty easily. And you don't want to be stuck in a car on the side of a road because people will run you over like it's no but tomorrow. They don't care, they don't watch. So, other than the drivers, I do like South Dakota. Let's see. I'm just reading some of these. Bear with me, guys. Let's see. Jamie's Hooked says, I don't want to bug you about personal stuff, but all I ever think about is yarn related. I'm more interested in craft fair adventures and what you take to them and what you set up. Actually, I've watched Randy and Rel set up a lot of craft fairs, and they've given some really good tips on what to bring with. And I told Ella, after my stressed out of how many different fairs I've done, the biggest thing is to make sure your stuff is priced way before you go. So don't price the week before or the day before. Price when you make your item, or get at least a inventory set up of what you're gonna do. Price the week before and pretend that you're actually going. You know, say your show is on Saturday. Do it the Saturday before and pretend that you're actually doing it that day. So you have all your stuff set up and you do a dry run of what it's going to look like on a table. Bringing things to stack your items up off the table is helpful. So, like, your amigurumi or your toys are not all in the same level. Depending on what size they are, if they're around the same height, you won't get to see them all. They'll just blend into your table. If you have access to a mannequin head, that really does help if you're going to be showcasing hats or cowls or scarves or something. Making sure that you have tape, pens, scissors, yarn and hook if you're going to be bored, because chances are that does happen at some fairs. Bags, think about what you're going to be handing your items out to your customers in. For me, it's a good old plastic bag, but I've given some of my bigger items out in the Dollar Tree plastic bags. They have, like, I've showed it on my channel before, but they're like large, extra large, and 2X large bags that are clear plastic, and a lot of times I'll carry my items in that, and when I put them into like a tote that I'm taking, that way they keep clean. But if you're selling a bigger amigurumi and you're handing it to somebody, if you put it in a clear plastic bag with handles that they can close up so it won't get dirty, then they'll be carrying it around and people will be able to get to see what's inside. So that's an idea. They're not exactly cheap, but if you're going to give a bigger item out, that would be the way to go. Let's see, Michelle 9396X, what is the best deal you got on yarn, when and where? Well, if you don't count free, because my aunt brought me 10 boxes of yarn from my grandma's, my aunt's, and my great aunt's stash. 10 boxes of McDonald's boxes filled with yarn. That was probably the best yarn deal I got, but other than that was Joann's. They had a deal on blanket yarn, and it was like 50% off, and then I had 20% off coupon off of that for sale items, and it wasn't a dollar buster. They try to get you for the dollar buster items. So as long as it's a sale that say it's going for like a week or something, and it says sale in the flyer, some of those 20% off coupons will work. And so that was a deal I got. I got them for like $4 a ball, which is pretty good. Barbara asks if I live in the city of Mitchell, which I do not. I have been to the Corn Palace. My cousin actually lives in Mitchell, and the Corn Palace is hilarious. People really should go by and look. It's a one-of-a-kind place to go, that's for sure. I don't know if there's a lake nearby, but there is Chamberlain, which is about another hour away. There's a lot of good fishing there, and that area was actually flooded in the last couple storms. The I-29, or I-90, I think it's I-90, was closed for a little bit there. Nadine asked if I have any brothers or sisters. I have one sister, and she is not crafty at all, but she does like to color. And my nieces have told me she's doing diamond painting, so maybe there's some hope for her. Angela's Crochet Arts asks, how much do I generally make at a show? Oh boy, that's like from 0 to, I think, 200 is the most I've ever made. So it's kind of a rough answer because it depends on what you're paying for your booth fees. Let's see. My Kathy Smith asked what my favorite snack is. I would have to say red vine licorice and wasabi peas, which is odd for a lot of people, I bet. Pat asked what my pet peeve is. I would have to say my pet peeve is lying. I don't like lying. I guess have the balls to tell me the truth, or figure out a way to tell me what you need to tell me, but don't lie to me. Let's see. My favorite Afghan pattern? Susan B. asked me what my favorite Afghan pattern is. I guess I would just have to say, I don't know, double crochet, basically, or a granny stitch, I suppose. I really haven't done a lot of Afghan patterns. They've been all designs, so Grafghan maybe, just because you can pretty much do anything with those. Tabitha's Treasures asks, what ages are my kids and what grades, and are they all in school yet? So Alea is out of school. She's going to be 21 next year. And the other kids are in first, kindergarten, preschool, and then Connor's not in school yet. but they're 6, 5, 3, and 1, so they're almost 2 and almost 4. Let's see. Chantel asks, what if for a couple days you didn't have to worry about the kids and you could do anything you wanted to do? What would it be? It would probably be go to Las Vegas. I would love to go to Las Vegas. I really wanted to go before I turned 30, and that didn't happen. Before I turned 40, and that didn't happen. But someday I'll go to Las Vegas. So, my favorite thing I like to do for myself. Let's see. I take mommy days, and I suggest that everybody does it just to get away from your kids, and or husband. There's nothing wrong in that, and they need to know how it feels to watch kids 24 hours a day and not have anybody else to back them up. So that is what I do for myself, is to make sure I take one of those days at least once a month. Lisa Cordell asked me, when your kids get busy making messes, do you choose your battles? Yes, I do. I clean up after lunch, and then I clean up before bed, or after they're in bed. I don't, during the middle of the days, when they've got toys everywhere, I really don't worry about it, because I know that they're going to get picked up. As far as food on the floor, I pick that up right away so I don't step on it, because you know you're going to step on it if you don't pick it up. So, but as vacuuming and stuff like that, I do that, like once a day or every other day, depending on what it needs. L.M. Loth asked if I have ever entered the state or county fair. I have not, but I really, really want to. I think that would be... I'm kind of jealous of Ella and Kendra and their county fair items. And then I saw that Kayla entered a bunch of items too. That's awesome. I really want to do that. Norma Binkley asked, the summer went by so quickly. Will I be glad when school starts? Hell yeah, I'm glad that school started. But let me tell you, Connor by himself is still a load of work, you guys. I cannot believe that little 1-year-old, almost 2, he's in the terrible 2s now, is a huge amount of work. He's driving me absolutely batty. He's climbing on everything, and I know duct tape is not legal, but boy, have I thought about it. Let's see. Tara Liles, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, asks if I have a favorite hat pattern for kids and do I make a separate one for adults. I don't know that I have a favorite hat pattern. I know that there are some easier than others. I have yet to try the Divinity hat, which I really want to, or Divine hat. I really want to try that, only because everybody's doing it, so you kind of want to jump on the bandwagon. But it is a very pretty hat. I know when I got all the hats for the Mal, that was a very popular hat, and it's very pretty worked up. So I would suppose that, because you can obviously see that a lot of people can make it, and it's fairly fast to make. But for kids' hats, I really like to do character hats. I did a lot of Minion hats when that was popular back then. I do a lot of sports hats, so just your basic half double crochet hat, and then I would add like a Grafgan on Packers or whatever, Broncos. I did a couple different hats like that back when I was making hats, and I make more amigurumis now than anything. So what else to tell you? That actually, I don't know, I think I went through all the questions. It might surprise you to know that I don't go out and buy clothes. Like, I will go out and buy clothes from Savers when they're 50% off. And normally it's only jeans because my jeans wear out faster than anything else. I have a lot of casino shirts that I've gotten from my friends and family. So I could probably have a casino shirt for every day of the month and still not have to wash one, which is really sad. But the casino around here, or at probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 casinos around here, will give you a shirt for every one of you, every year for your birthday, plus every year of their anniversary. So that's a lot of shirts. And I don't have a full-time job. I don't have a job I have to dress up for, so, and I don't go to church, so that really takes out a lot of your wardrobe when you don't have anything. You need nice things to wear too. As you can see right there, I'm wearing one of my casino shirts. So, let's see. Well, I suppose that is it for now. I will, as Kim says, love you and leave you. And we will talk soon. This is a 36-minute so far video, and I apologize, but hopefully you guys got something out of this, and we will talk soon. Bye!